Okay, so this question number one has to do with value versus visibility. Here's the question. How does the price of a booth correlate with the level of brand visibility or audience engagement that it can deliver?
Oh, okay. A doozy. Price is one of my favorite subjects, as you know. So let's back up for a second, because what we would hope that the brands would come to us, designers, builders with, is a clear set of objectives like we've talked about before. What are we trying to do or deliver by going to these shows or hosting these events, right? And if we have a bunch of clarity around that and what that means for their business, it's from that point that they should have developed the resources. How much do you want to spend to achieve those outcomes, right? Again, all of these shows and events, they're not of equal value from brand to brand, show to show, and whatnot. And so it's the designers, it's the creators, it's our job to figure out, for that set amount of resources, given that set of objectives, how are we going to make the most of those resources to achieve those outcomes? And so, as we've said earlier, design drives price.
All right, you're going to love this one.
Oh boy.
Renting versus owning as a strategic investment. Okay, that's the topic. So the question, at what point does investing in a purchased exhibit become more strategically valuable than to continue renting, considering brand consistency, flexibility, and long-term use?
Good question. I think it's loaded because you said, when does it make more strategic sense? And that encompasses a lot of things. I think in short, I would say this. If you have a portable program, own the assets, buy them. You're basically setting up linear experiences. There's not a lot you can do with the attendee experience. You can have a nice fit finish messaging, things like that can vary, but go ahead and own those high volume assets. Actually, I wouldn't even call them assets. They're expenses. They're going to break. They're going to get damaged. They're going to get nicked. You're going to have to replace them over the life cycle. So that's very, very clear. If you have island spaces in your show, I'm not sure there's ever a time it makes sense to own. And the reason for that is every show each and every year is perhaps a different city, perhaps a different footprint, perhaps a different location on the show floor, massive changes in your business and your brand likely. And so the audience can change from show to show. And so we've already discussed how brand consistency is totally achievable. But if we are anchored in the fact that I've got to use this thing that I bought, I made a series of design decisions 2 years ago. I bought this asset and therefore my accounting people are making me use it. That is not strategic marketing.
Okay, third and last question. And this is on the topic of cost as a function of experiential design. How does the booth's cost reflect the experiential goals? Are we paying for materials or for the story the space tells?
I mean, all of it. It goes back to the first topic. Most exhibit providers like us are managing the total spend for the brands that we serve, right? And so it's not just what you see, it's getting it there, it's getting it set up and all of these things. And so there's so many hidden costs that the attendee may never ever appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. And so we want to put a majority of the budget into the thing that the client is going to actually experience. Right. And so I think there's a tremendous amount of value to be had by the attendee versus if we're spending the money right, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense. Those are the questions for today. So thank you.
Dollars and cents.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.